Storytime basket. I think I helped my boss get rid of evidence, but I'm still not sure. I 26 male work for a small tax firm. It's so small that I'm the only person working there that isn't family. My boss Ted and his wife Sophia pretty much did everything for the business, but I noticed pretty quick that Sophia seemed to do a better job. She was always at the office before everyone, and she always stayed longer than everyone. Ted seemed to be the exact opposite of her. He would always show up late or not at all, and when he did come in on time he would leave early. Ted and Sophia never fought in front of me, but I could tell they were getting under each other's skin. One day, about 3 months ago, I get to work, and the whole place is still locked up. Immediately my stomach turned, and I knew something was wrong. I had been working there for almost a year, and I had never been able to get to work before Sophia. I tried calling Ted, but he didn't answer, so I figured I would call Sophia. I stood at the front door, and what I heard filled my entire body with dread. Sophia's phone was ringing from inside the locked building. I almost called the police, but decided not to. Instead I called Ted, and this time I heard it. A faint buzz sound coming from inside the building. I figured Ted and Sophia were inside doing something, and just forgot to tell me I had the day off. I left Ted a message, and went home. What I didn't know is that day was the start of the most horrific experiences of my life. Before I went into work the next day, I called Sophia, and her phone went straight to voicemail. I didn't want to go into work without talking to someone, so I called Ted. When he answered the phone, he didn't say hi, or anything. He only said 4 words that made my blood run cold. "Have you seen Sophia?" Usually, I wouldn't be alarmed, but there was something about everything that happened the day before that made this feel different. I told Ted I didn't know where she was, but then I mentioned hearing both of their phones ringing while I was outside of the office. I don't know why, but as soon as the words left my mouth I regretted it. There was silence on the phone for what felt like forever, and then Ted told me to come over. When I got to his place it was chaos. There were police everywhere, and Sophia's parents were there. Ted pulled me into his office, and when he closed the door I felt my stomach drop. I knew I was safe because there were police everywhere, but still my fight or flight response was on 1,000. Ted asked me to explain what I thought I heard, so I told him how I called both of their phones and could hear them ringing/buzzing from outside. I watched Ted force a smile, but the anger in his eyes stayed put. Then he reached out and grabbed my shoulder with what felt like all of his strength. Through his forced smile he told me he didn't know what I thought I heard, but it wasn't their phones. At that moment there was a knock on the door, and I thought I was safe, but it was about to get worse. The police wanted to talk to me, and they did it right in front of Ted. I knew I had to lie, so I did. Over the next couple of months we looked for Sophia every day, but she was never found. Here's where things turn into a page straight out of a horror story. 2 weeks ago Ted sends me a thank you basket. It has stuff like cheese, crackers, meat logs, jams, and a card. The card says, and I quote, "To an employee who goes above and beyond. I couldn't have done it without you, Ted." I felt so terrible for lying to the police that I sat there and ate everything in the basket. Over the next few days I tried to just let it go, but now I'm worried that basket was a warning. Yesterday Ted told me he wanted me to work on his brother's tax returns. At the top of page 1 in big bold letters was something that made me sick. Tender touch meats. His brother owns a butcher shop. Now I can't stop thinking about what I actually ate, and I wonder where Ted would send my basket.